And hope you will enjoy the conference here in Greece. Good luck in all your efforts in dealing with and finding a cure for LCA, for histiocytosis. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nick. Wonderful. Nick, I have to thank you twice, because I know how difficult it is for you to do this. I know how difficult it is for you to speak, how difficult it is for you to stand up. So I need to thank you twice. Thank you, Nick. I also want to thank a priori the four ladies that have been responsible for organizing this event. It's Kathy and Heather from the Histiocyte Association of America. I cannot see them where they are, but they are somewhere here. I also want to thank Tina Ravegu from Artemis. And I have to say, and I need to single out Dora, of course. She's my alter ego. Without Dora, nothing happens here. I want to thank you. I'm very proud to have so many people on behalf of all the patients of histiocytosis, and on behalf of all of us here in Greece, to have all these important doctors, scientists, physicians, medical practitioners from all over the world. And I'm very happy because, in a way, I feel like I'm in a family. This is the histiocytosis close-knit family. And I have a mission in my life. I want to expand this family. And therefore, always we have tried, through the Nikolas Symposium, to bring in not only those of you who are engaged in this terrible disease, but others outside in other fields and other disciplines, that they come in and they expand what I think is our family. And I consider this to be a very important way to study this particular disease. An example I have here with us today, of course, is my friend Akropolis from Harvard University, who is not a histiocytosis man. But I was very touched and honored the other day when I was told that he was inspired by what we do here in Greece. And I saw him today, and he continues to be inspired, and I'm inspired by him, and I thank him for being here, and for all the great work that he does for us. And I know that he will bring in other people from other disciplines as we go along in this voyage to find out what this disease is all about. I also, in this context, need to thank those of you who are here that are not at all related to the histiocytosis. They are not doctors, they are not patients, they are not parents, they are supporters, they are friends. And there are a few of you here. I'm expecting some more, that's why they will present, I hope they show up. But they like us. They believe in what we do. They're part of our group. And I think that this community, this interrelationship between physicians, people who are involved in histiocytosis, scientists outside of the box, parents and friends, if we get together, this is the only way, this is the model with which we have tried here in Greece at least to see how this, to understand this puzzling disease. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that this evening is dedicated, of course, to all of you, and I thank you for your presence. But it is also dedicated to a great absentee, my great friend, my collaborator for 25 years in the Nikolas Symposia, a great doctor, your collaborator, your friend, an incredible human being, Bob Assisi, who sadly passed away in a freak motorcycle accident in June this year. And in a way, I say, in a celebratory way, I say, good for him. You know, he passed away on his bike, free. I also want to celebrate with you today 2 lives that we lost from our small histiocytosis community. One is the great Christian Ezelov, the founder of your society, the first president of the society, who passed away at the age of 94 this year. And also the kind and wonderful Myron Malone. Myron passed away from cancer on September 17th this year. I think she was, I'm told, she was the greatest histopathologist in our business, and we will miss her terribly. I want this to be a celebration. We're, of course, very sad for their loss. But I think we're incredibly fortunate to have shared our lives with the wonderful lives and the tremendous achievements. So this is not anything else but a celebration of these wonderful people that we have lost this year. I want to welcome you all, ladies and gentlemen, to Athens, the city of light, the city of reason, the city of ancient rationality. I want to welcome you to Greece, the country that made medicine a vocation, the country that made medicine a science. I also want to welcome you to this wonderful museum that we had a chance to visit. I want to thank Professor Pandermalis, the director of the museum, and all the staff of the museum, for giving us this opportunity to come and have a dinner here. And I want you to know that this is one of the 10 or 15 most important museums in the world. And it is also a museum in waiting. It is a museum in waiting because it waits for its Parthenon marbles that were taken away from us about 200 years ago. They are hosted at the British Museum very lately, and we hope that we will send them back in the room that we have upstairs in our lifetime. And in that respect, I think that we people of histiocytosis have a commonality in this because, you know, we are also people in waiting. We are waiting for you to find a cure for histiocytosis. And we hope that we find a cure in our lifetime as well. My son Nikolas was diagnosed with this disease 34 years ago. And as you can all see, the disease has not been very kind to him. But he refuses to give up. He is not afraid to stand up. He is not afraid to speak. He is not afraid to claim that he is fine and well. And this is partly because of your contribution. You are his family, You are his hope, as I know that you are the family and the hope of many people who suffer from this disease around the world. So, we in Greece have a very soft, instinctively very soft spot for all of you. And we do that for two reasons. One is because we know what life is without you. As I said, Nikolas was diagnosed in 1981. The society did not exist then. Society was formed in 1985 by two great doctors, Christian Ezelov and Dan Danzio. Dan is still around. I was very proud to be around when the society was formed, and I was very happy to contribute in a very small way in its establishment. But I can tell you, life before that was terrible. It was difficult. It was hard. It was unknown. It was a life without hope. So for us, you guys represent hope. And I think for the patients around the world, you represent hope. The second reason that we have a very soft spot for you here in Greece is because we believe very strongly that through the Nikolas Symposium, which we fund and organize every year, we have made some important contributions in your understanding about this disease. So, in our small country, this small country with a small population, with incredible financial problems, we believe that we're at the center of the effort to understand this passing disorder. So I want to make a proposal to you. I want to make a proposal to your board. I alluded to this to my friend Carlos, the president of the society, the other day when I saw him. I think that we should not have the Histiocyte Society Meeting in Greece every 30 years. I think it would be immodest for me to ask you to have it every year. But I want to make a proposal, an official proposal, that we have the Histiocyte Society Meeting in Greece every 5 years. And I promise you that I think we deserve it. And I promise you that we will look after you and you will have a great time. As I said previously, this meeting is dedicated to all of you, but of course to my great friend, the great doctor, Dr. Assisi. And I know that if Bob was here tonight, he would be up here, he would be talking to you, he would be on his usually gay, optimistic way. And I'm afraid he's not here, but we have arranged for him to address us. We have arranged for a small video, a clip, that, and I'll tell you a story about this. The last time he was in Greece was in May this year. And after we finished the Nikolas Symposium, my nephew Nikolas and my son John took an interview with him. And now John has put together a small 3 minutes clip, which I would like to play for you, where Bob speaks about the disease, he speaks about Nikolas' particular problem, and he speaks about the Nikolas Symposium. And I think, in a way, it's his last testament. It's the last time I heard him speak, and I have him on tape. So would you mind, Costa, can you play the tape for us?
I'm Robert Arcisi. Langerhans Cell Histiocytosis is considered a rare disease. It is, however, as common as many other types of childhood cancers. For instance, it's about as common as several pediatric cancers, leukemias. Roughly between 4 and 8 million children will develop LCH just like other types of cancers. In many ways, we are where we are now because of technological advances in allowing us to sequence genes and to understand how the immune system works. And while we all are very impatient and want answers right away, unfortunately, it takes time to do the right science. So the goal here is to understand this disease as well as we can to develop treatments that attack it at its Achilles heel, not in a general way like chemotherapy does. So with Nick, he has had Langerhans cell histiocytosis almost from infancy on. And initially, he had disease that affected his skin and several of his other organs, and that was treated, and it went into what we call a remission. Then several years later, he developed problems with his walking, being able to write, and ultimately had a diagnosis of what we now call neurodegenerative syndrome. We really don't have any specific treatment to reverse that at this time. Several types of chemotherapy have been used. One hope is that possibly some of the new agents, some of the new drugs that are being tested may have an impact upon this. All of this has to do with doing more research and trying to understand the basis of who gets it, why do they get that complication. And so the future really resides on getting doctors together from different fields to bring them together to get smarter by doing good science and translating that science into practice. The Nikolas Symposium has had an immense role in bringing new knowledge to the forefront. It has been possibly one of the best paradigms for a scientific meeting ever. It is a model for the exchange of ideas with few experts in the diseases and many experts in the sciences, so that blend, it's like a good meal. That blending of all these scientists and clinicians have created an environment out of which has come some really quite remarkable discoveries.
What can I say? I see some people are moved by what he said. He was a great friend, but what he said was research, 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 collaboration, 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 technology, technology, technology. You know, before, the last time I saw him in May, I had my doubts about whether we spent the money properly at the Nikolas Symposium, as I always do. And I asked him in the presence of Barrett and Martin whether, you know, the money we spend is well spent, and where should we spend the money properly. And he said to me, do the symposium. And I promised that I will do the symposium as long as I'm alive. And I hope that the next generation on my side, sitting there, will do it. And I hope the next generation of your side, I think I see some of the next generation in this room on your side, will continue to be of help to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to all those who are here tonight, and each one individually, that are not members of our group, that are friends. Without them, we cannot exist. First of all, I want to say thank you to our sponsors tonight, Mrs. Angeliki Franco and Artemis Corporation. Angeliki is not here today, she's traveling in Japan. She's represented by Mrs. Anna Kalathaki, who is sitting right over there. And I thank her dearly for her contribution. I also want to say thank you to my good friend Stamatis Moleris and his wife. They are not here, they are also traveling, but they have sponsored this event. I wish to thank always the Leventis Foundation, fantastic contributor of ours, represented here by Dr. Hatzakis. Mirto Hatzakis is right over there. Anastasis David of the Leventis group is not here with us because he's having a baby. His wife is having a baby. His wife is having a baby today, I think. So he's not here. He would love to be here. Of course, I have another friend of mine here, Mr. Papadimitriou, whose wife had 2 babies. Maria, she's sitting next to him 20 days ago, and I thank him for his presence and his friendship. Of course, I cannot miss Simon Palios and his wife Zeta and his daughter Semiramis. They're all here. What can I say about Simon? Whenever I have a problem around histiocytosis, my instinct tells me to go to Simon, and he fixes it. somehow. I don't know how he does. And he fixed this museum as well. The way to get through to Professor Pandermarlis was through Simon. Simon, thank you. I also wish to thank my good friend, Marili Frankistas, she's sitting right there on the front table, and her brother Nikolas, who's not here today. She's always around, she's always friendly, and she's always with us and contributes to us. I want to finish by thanking the musicians who are going to play a wonderful concert, and I want to thank Miss Dominiki Papathanassiou. I don't know where she is, she's somewhere. I want to thank her dearly, she's over there, the lady. She has organized the musical event. And I have to tell you something about the music and about a book that you are going to receive. And I will show you the book. It's a book written by somebody called Roberto Soldatini. And it's called Music of the Sea. And Roberto is an incredible cellist, and he plays violoncello very well. And he has this fantastic violoncello. It's one of the 10 or 12 Stradivarius in existence, and he carries it with him all the time. And he was introduced to me, as Dominiki was introduced to me, by somebody whom I have to mention. He doesn't like to be mentioned, but I would be ashamed of myself if I don't mention him, Stathis Topouzoglu, because he does so much for me and for us that I would be ashamed if I didn't mention him. So, Roberto is an incredible composer and maestro, and he does the Odyssey the reverse way every year. He doesn't start from Troy to come to Ithaca and the West, but he starts from the West, from Italy, and he goes to Troy. And he has this little dingy sailboat, and he travels on his sailboat together with his violoncello. This violoncello is worth about 12 million euros. And he takes the violoncello always with him. And of course, Stathis met him one night, I understand. He was sitting on his boat in some island, I don't know where, in the Aegean, and he heard this fantastic music coming out of the sea. And Roberto was sitting on his little boat. Pretty much like you will see him on the book. You will see it because everyone will get one of these. And he was playing his violoncello. And Stathis, who is a music lover, became very good friends of him. And of course he introduced him to me, and we all together had a big fundraiser on the Histiocytoses, and Roberto came and he played for us. And he became a friend of ours. And he is a friend of ours, and if you look at the front of the book, he dedicates some of the proceeds of the book to research on the histiocytosis. The book is sponsored by Stathis and his family, and I thank him very much for it, and I thank Roberto for it. So everybody will receive a book like this when we go out. I want to finish, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to bring Carlos on the podium on a personal note, as always. And the personal note revolves with me, always around Nick. You know, when we have our chats, Nick and I, we talk about life, and we talk, you know, if I had my brothers, why me, and all these things that are important in these circumstances. The other day I was with him, and he said that, you know, if I was well, I would like to be a doctor. And I said to him, why, Nick? He said, because I want to get rid of this damn disease. And I said, well, you know, it's fine, but, you know, you cannot do that. It's not possible. But he said, I can help. And then he asked me, how many doctors are coming this time around? And I said, I don't know, about 150, 170 doctors from all over the world. Oh, he said, fantastic. Then can find a cure from the disease, for the disease. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you please find a cure for the disease? And if you need any help, can you please ask Nick? He may not be able to help you scientifically, but he will energize you spiritually, I promise you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening. I ask Carlos to come on the podium. I hope you have a great meal and enjoy the music as well.
Thank you, Nick. You are already helping us. I think everyone in this room knows how much you have inspired us over the years, over 25 years exactly. So I think that many in this room here have many thanks to give you, and I hope that everyone, you can feel the work from every single one in this room, because you really have helped us and will continue to help. So thank you very much, Nick. And thank you very much to Apostolos and Elizabeth for having taken this immense love that you have for me, for this determination to find a cure for Nick and for many children around the world like Nick and others that we don't want to be ill anymore. So thank you very much, because what you have done cannot be paid or cannot be done described. And so in the name of the Histiocyte Society, I thank you for your warm welcome. I thank, as well as you said, all your friends and the donors and the Artemis Association for what you have done over the years in trying to find a cure. And I think that this is one of the very few places in the world where you see that kind of energy and synchrony. And trust me, we travel a lot, I travel a lot. And I see a lot of groups meeting, and I see a lot of foundations working, and I see many countries organizing initiatives. But what you have done with your friends is unparalleled, and that tells a lot about friendship as well, about loyalty, and that you must be very proud that you have this kind of friends that tell a lot about you. So, and then in the name of the society, we want to thank you for this, and also to tell you, following on your comments. So we are a young society. This is our 31st anniversary. So this is young in the life of an individual or a society. I would say we're young and energetic, and we're still growing, and we have a lot to do. And you probably can see that with a lot of young people in this room. After being a few years in the society, I realized I am one of the oldest ones already, and I thought I was still junior not long ago. So we're getting old. So but in a name, but we're also a family, as you said. And 3 decades in a family is a long time, right? And so we lose people. We get a lot of new blood, but we also lose our loved ones. And so this year, as you said, we have lost 3 very loved ones. And so the loved ones that have showed us the way, that have inspired us, that have energized us, that have mentored us and befriended us. None of us would be here without any of them. At one point in our careers, we have all interacted. So, and we are their children, and so it's good for a family to honor their loved ones and those that left. And so, in a sense, this meeting is about them as well. So, you mentioned Christian Nezolov, and he was the very first president of the society, and I have never met him, honestly, and I would say that 90% of the people in the room have never met him. He was 94, and yet we always hear about him, like in a family, right? We have the Nezolov Prize, and everyone talks about the Nezolov, and in our booklet we always know that he was the first president, and I'm the last president, not the last president, the current president. But in between, there are 8 other presidents, and many of them in this room, and so I feel like I'm passing that flame that he ignited with many others 30 years ago or more. So that's a big loss. And we have lost Christian Nezolov, and we have lost Marian Malone as well. As you said, she was the queen of pathology, or a lady of pathology, of the world of pathology, probably one of the warmest, kindest, genuine people, always with a smile, always ready to help you, a nice word, a nice touch in your back. Even if you had not seen her for 5 years, it would be like you missed her, right? Like you missed a good friend. And what can I say about Paul? Paul was such a force of nature, right? With his energy, his enthusiasm, his laughter. You could hear him laugh all the time. Today, I think the meeting was shorter just because he was asking questions. He was not there, right? Otherwise, he would be asking questions, and when you would be ready to leave the podium, then you would see Bob coming down the aisle towards the microphone and said, oh no, Bob's going to tell you then what I'm going to say now, right? And that's that was Bob, and we cannot say anything that would really make him justice, but I think that all of them taught us was the love for what they do, for the medicine, for research. And we were remembering this morning, we're in Greece, and this is the birthplace of medicine, and Hippocrates actually basically made that revolution that we are now carrying on. And said that whatever or where there is love for medicine, there is love for humanity. And that's what we experience with these founders and our friends. And there's also another aphorism that we were reading today from Hippocrates, that life is short, and we have seen it, but art is long. And so hopefully their art, Bob's art, Marion, Christian, will live with us and with the society forever. And so just to remember them in the voices of those that actually were his friends or mentored them over the years, we would like to hear from Martin to say a few words about Bob. And Jennifer Picarsi, just because she's one of the new pathologists coming on board. She's a junior person, and Marion took her under her wing to help her get into the society with that generosity that Bob and Marion showed. So with that, I will let Martin and Jennifer take over, and thank you very much.
Well, I did know Christian Nijmov, and I was somewhere in the middle of those 8 presidents, I guess. You know, it's always difficult when you see a movie from Bob, because, you know, what else is there to say? In my vision, he was this intellectual clown, and I say that with all due respect. You know, we go back 25 years, and for the last 22 years, we had the privilege that we were that we could organize, or that we could be responsible for part of organizing the Nikolas Symposium. We had always rotating people, and at the moment we have Matt Cullen, we have Eric Rollins, and they need, you know, we need them to get the intellectual input for the invitation, the people who we invite. But during the meeting, I'll tell you, it's the Bob show. He wants to be, and he is so energetic, and there is never a silent moment. He has the right icebreaker at the right moment. And you know, I had a lovely dinner with my wife and with Paul and Elizabeth yesterday, and we were talking about it. How would it be without Bob? And the thing is, the dynamics will be different, but he had made this basis where we can build on. And you know, we will miss him, but I really believe that he gave us something. And you know, if people ask me about Bob, I'm going to go back 11 years. We had the Histiocyte Society in Stresa in Italy. I was the president of the Histiocyte Society, and we had a dinner like this. And somebody told me there was a plane into one of the towers, and I thought it was a plane with 1 or 2 people, and I thought, how stupid can they be? But then everything happened, and after the meeting, you know, everybody went home. But Bob was stuck in Stresa. And because there were no flights for a couple of days, if not a week, to the United States. And he was so stressed because he was in a little hotel where they didn't speak any English. The only thing that he could understand was cappuccino. And we were on the phone, and he was just really very stressed. So together with a good friend of mine, we organized a ticket, and we got him to Amsterdam. I was still working in the Netherlands, and I put him in my little cabin on the seaside. And every day he was running on the beach, and of course he would work on his grants, because if there's anything that he would always do is working on grants, and I'm not really sure how successful he was with his grants, but he was always working on it. And then in the evening, at the end of the day, I would pick him up, and I would bring him to my place, and then we had dinner with our family. And it's interesting, before the last Nikolas Symposium, I was talking about it with my 3 boys, and they still remember this crazy physician who was always making jokes. And he said, my boys asked me, so what do you guys do? Because, when I see you with your colleagues, you make jokes. Are you really physicians? Are you really doing something? So that was really Bob, and I think that, we had a very good understanding. Because I think I would like to end with something very special, not only about the jokes, but also about out of the heart. In the Netherlands, we had a singer-songwriter, Bram Vermeulen, and actually, I wrote a little poem, or I spoke about this little poem at the funeral of John Pritchard, also one of the people, and from the Nikolas Symposium, really the godfather of the Nikolas Symposium. And I would like to end with that little poem, because I think it's important. And when I die, please do not cry. You have to know I'm not really gone. It's just a body that you leave behind. I'm really dead when you have forgotten me. And I think that Bob and John, and probably Ralph and Marion, are somewhere up there, And I hope that they have a lot of fun, and that they will guide us with our laughter and with the energy, because we will go on, but we know that they will always behind us. Thank you very much.
I just want to say a few quick words. I only knew Marion for a few short years, and the second I met her, though, I felt like I knew her my whole life. She was just one of those people that had this genuine kindness and warmth, and the second you met her, you just felt like you knew her. You could strike up a short conversation with her, and she was just one of those people that listened to you, that really heard you and wasn't ready to talk over you. She just listened, and then she would respond with this very insightful, little comment that would make you think even more. So she was just one of those rare jewels in the world that shine with this natural radiance. She was knowledgeable, but yet humble, witty, but always ready to engage in good fun, and especially at these meetings. I know she always had a great time, and she just had this smile that could light up the room. Her infectious enthusiasm to teach, whether it be at the microscope or in the lab or at lectures. Those that got to see her were the lucky ones to learn from her knowledge and experience. And she was, as many of you said, sort of the queen or lady of the pathology, histopathology of the Histiocyte Society and pediatric community, and her absence really leaves a heavy sorrow in our hearts. So, on behalf of all the pathologists of the Histiocyte Society and the pediatric community, we're going to try to continue on her tradition of enthusiasm and love of these histiocytes. So, thank you.
We celebrate their lives. We celebrate our moment. We build upon what they have left us. As Carlos and Martin said, the poem Martin was fantastic. It put me into tears. Thank you all. Enjoy the dinner and enjoy the music that comes. Some of the music that comes is Bob's favorite music. So enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.